Hi, how are you, my beautiful humans, you amazing movers and shakers? Welcome to the Lesedi Life podcast. So, today's topic is based on something that's been very prevalent in the readings that I've been doing as of late. And the key words here were pride, forgiveness, and persistence. One of the biggest, challenges in my spiritual journey, my healing journey, and even in my self-love journey has been the ability to forgive and still move forward with a person. This could be, say, an issue with a family member, not seeing eye to eye with parents or not seeing eye to eye with cousins, aunts. I'll forgive, but I really don't want to deal with you anymore. I don't want to talk to you. I was very much a part of the cancel culture, I love you from afar, right? But something about the way my spiritual journey has been developing has made it more clear to me that it is most beneficial to not only forgive, but to heal and move forward still with this person or these people in your life. With family, that's pretty obvious. My mom is probably the biggest example I have of this, where when we grew up, we didn't have a lot of cousins over. We didn't have a lot of aunts and uncles over. We didn't have a lot of friends over. It was literally just us. And every so often, we would have some people over that were family. We didn't we didn't have birthday parties where we invited a lot of people and things like that. And I recognized it was because of the relationship issues that my mother had. So those are in me. And then I developed and had my own, right? Living my own life. So this comes up because a spirit being so firm on pride this week was the fact that our pride can hinder us from gaining the real lesson and the value of what was supposed to be gained through the encounter. In a perfect world, we know that the Most High God is in control of everything, right? Honey bun, oh my goodness. Okay. We know that the Most High God is in control of everything, right? And then if we trust and believe that, we also know that no matter what's going to happen, no matter what is happening, it was going to happen already, right? So in trusting that, you were meant to get upset by this person. You were meant to be triggered by this person. You were meant to go through whatever you went through with this person that was so horrible, awful, frustrating, and even some cases debilitating, okay? And if you are also ashamed, right, your pride will also allow you to be ashamed of yourself in the choices that you made. You also don't get to learn from the situation, right? You have to first admit fault. Maybe you could have made some better choices here, looked at things a little bit differently, and then trusting and having faith in the process of what is, okay? In many cases, when I haven't been able to do that, I'm going to continue the same cycle. I'm going to continue the same pattern because I didn't get to learn from it, because I'm stopping myself from admitting I was wrong, or admitting I came from a place of lack, or admitting I came from a place of defeat or a place of low self-worth, right? When I can accept those things about myself and then learn how to heal those things about myself, I move into a place of power, I move into a place of peace, and I move into a place of understanding, on a whole new level, what the Most High God was trying to orchestrate in my reality with this encounter and this situation from the beginning. So that handles our forgiveness and our pride. The last thing was the persistence. I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, if it's not one thing, it's another. Well, if it's not one thing, it's another. When you decide to be on this spiritual journey, this path of enlightenment, this self-discovery journey, this self-healing journey, right? It's like the moment I realize I have this blind spot, right? Let's say my blind spot is being a people pleaser, right? If my blind spot is being a people pleaser, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just stop people pleasing. And I make this decision to have boundaries. Okay, great. Then I get through that cycle, and then all of a sudden there is new challenge on the fact that aside from establishing the boundaries, now I need to also, we'll say, establish the boundaries with expectations. You know, also have expectations for yourself, right? And so then I have to go through like unlearning what that was for me and how that triggered me and what it is to have expectations and all this other stuff, you know, so all those little things happen. And then there's another thing and another thing and another thing. So in essence, boundaries for me is like this onion of layers that has to be peeled back and peeled back and peeled back and peeled back till we get through all the trauma that made me get to the place I am with having a lack of boundaries, all the decisions I've made throughout my life that made me ashamed and not want to have boundaries in the first place, or that I'm not worthy enough to have boundaries or expectations with people, like whatever that looks like for you. That's what it was like for me, you know. I know, honey. I know it's interesting. You can't have it. You can't have it. Okay, so I say all that to say the persistence of it all can be daunting. You know, you really do want to stay the course because it's worth it once you really feel what it is like to be free of this thing, you know, and what it feels like to actually have genuine, authentic relationships with people, and what it feels like to really feel whole and good and worthy within yourself. Without working through these things, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I struggled in a lot of those areas. So it was worth it to me to be persistent because I knew I was getting to the bottom of something. I knew that I was healing something worth healing. And although I'd had no evidence of it anywhere else in my life up until these points, my faith guided me there. And the world around me started to kind of collapse in different ways that let me know I was going in the right direction and on the right path. So by no means am I ever going to say that this is, you know, so easy and you could do this and like it's a cakewalk. No, I'm going to continue to encourage you and myself and the next person when we're doing these things, because it is hard to stay persistent. Sometimes I do want to shut my eyes and go back to just, you know, being a drone, if you will, you know, living my life in a way that made sense to everyone and abided by everything this matrix has built for us. But something inside me calls for more and calls for deeper and calls for just all of it. All of it. Like I'm too big to be in this little box, like too big, just too big. And if you're watching this, so are you. So in closing, I just want to remind you how great you are and how tough you are and how loved you are to have come as far as you have on your journey, whether you're at the beginning, what seems like forever, whatever. You've been doing the work necessary to heal something that many people never thought would be done. You literally are walking around with decades of patterns and regressed emotions and traumas and wanting things that you feel like you maybe can't have. But you can. And you will, and you are getting there, okay? So, I love you. Blessings and peace to you. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Namaste.